Hi everybody. So what I wanted to do is just kind of go over life. What's life? And it sucks. Does it ever get better? Um, so the thing is that I've been through a lot more than what I would like to be in most of the time. But it's just that. So the sometimes way it goes when we go through things, they they help us grow. They help us build on things. Like I was saying earlier to another friend, is sometimes the hard times pull the weeds. So when we go through hard times, it's helping us become better at life than what we're at, because you have to start. You do. Sometimes some things are so bad it makes you reevaluate life in itself, and it's just kind of like, well, geez, this time in life sucks. And those times are when you say, why? What can I change? What can be made better? What's the cause? And we are not perfect. We can't guess it all right away, but we do. We make our decisions and we try to improve and we try to grow. And that's when we're just taking out the weeds and growing. So don't panic too quick. To take life a little bit easier. It's sometimes it can feel like it's endless, like it's never going to go away, or is it ever going to get any better? Yes, it is going to get better. Each time you go through a hardship, you come out of it better than when you went in. It will not feel like it. On some that I went through, it seemed like I went from one hardship into another hardship, and it's just like, I don't think it's going to get better, and is the rest of my life going to be this way? And most times that's when I was younger. Like, as I pulled the weeds and got out of the state of mind, because really the state of mind is a whole lot of where we're at. When I got out of the state of mind that I was in then, it's, you got to start looking, instead of blaming everything and believing everything is the cause of the hardship and the problem you're going through. You have to start saying, wait, I'm accountable for some of this stuff. This stuff that's been going on has been caused by the decisions I've been making. And it's, we just continue to try making good decisions. But that's where, so it's like, all right, how can I make better decisions? Perspective and outlook make a huge difference. If you think things are going to go good, things are going to go positive, then when you sit back and you're going through those hardships and those struggles, you'd be like, all right, this is going to get better. Let's see, I can do this, I can do that. When you're looking on the other, then it's just like, well, how? It's not going to change. It's always going to be the same. It's just going to get worse. And that doesn't make life better, it makes it worse. Again, what you focus on will expand in your life. And what that means is if you think about hard times or struggles, or you're never going to have any money, that's your focus. And so that's what keeps, unknowingly, it's our subconscious mind, keeps us going in that direction. When you start looking at, I'm going to be rich, or I'm going to have more than enough money, or my bills are going to be paid. You don't have to be rich just to enjoy life, but money does make life better. But money certainly isn't what makes life good. What makes life good is friends and family. That's what makes life good. And so it's not, but still, with money, it's like when friends and family are struggling, it's nice to be able to give them money to help them through their hard time. But looking at things in a positive perspective when things are rough and say, okay, I'm going to get through this. Or like my grandma used to always say, and this too will pass. And she's right. This too will pass. Everything in life gradually passes. Like the beginning of the year. It's January, and pretty soon it's March, pretty soon it's July, pretty soon it's August, pretty soon it's December. And so then it's kind of like it just passes. Time moves on. And we can sometimes get entrapped in believing that it's not going to move on. It's going to be like this for the rest of my life. That's the way we can get looking at it. Like it's going to be the rest of that way. And I've been in that. I have been in that. And it's been extremely depressing. Mostly, I would have to look back at it and say, why were those times so depressing? Because I actually meditated on how horrible and how terrible it was going to be. What changes it? Really, what changes it is the perspective, your outlook in life. What gets you out of those horrible, worst situations? And it's like once you start looking for an escape, a way to get out, and it's not suicide or something like that. Those are not the answers. It's so it's like, how can I improve my life? And it's little things. Maybe it's get a different job. Maybe it's get out of the area. Move to another town, another city. If you're renting, yes, you can just look for another. Sometimes moving 10 miles away, same job, makes a huge difference. Sometimes moving into a different state. There's a lot of different. What happens when you do those moves? Small or great, they change our perspective, and they help us to start looking at things in a more positive way. Sometimes when we're doing this, we make a move in our life, and that move start out really good. We start out being really hopeful, and then things happened, and it seems like, great, here we go again. If we don't give up and we don't quit, it'll keep getting better and better and better until there's a time when you look back and say, my gosh, I can't believe I went through all that. And so, I would encourage you, write some of that down. That's what I actually started doing. I got in my, this changing your mindset. And I said, you know what? Someday my life is going to be different. It's not going to be like this. And so what I did is I started writing it down, because I said, you know what? The people in the future are not going to believe I went through this, because my life be so much better. Don't believe me. When I started writing, there wasn't anything to talk. Well, those are things. I say there isn't anything to talk about or to brag about. But when I look back at it now, of how much growing and experience and all that stuff that I went through, it's like there is things to talk about. There are things to brag about, because there were good things at those times, even though it felt like the whole world was crashing down around me. There still were good things. I didn't see them. And sometimes it's just that time alone. That's what it was. I was just alone. And you dive into yourself, who you are, and you learn so much about yourself. Those times are priceless. And there's a lot of times that are priceless in our lives that come about by hardships. Ideally, we hope to go through none. But life, and like I often like to say, is life happens. We just don't know. One day to the next, we plan, we prepare as good we can, as best we can. But sometimes things happen that are completely unexpected and seem to be destructive and hurtful, and it's just like, how can I recover from this? Relax is what I would say. It sucks. There's no question about it. But if you just can get through whatever it takes, I mean, there's times when, it sucks so bad I can hardly get out of bed. But I made it through that day. Made it through that week. And eventually then it comes around and says, I'm going to do a little more. Do a little more. And then pretty soon, life kind of seems to be back to normal. And I can start growing from that. Saying, I don't want to go there again. I don't want to experience that again. And you start growing from it, and you start, maturing. And it's just, that's really where, like, when they come up, relax. I know it's really hard to say relax. Really hard to think about it, because there are some things in life that are nowhere near relax, take it easy. But at least take a deep breath in. At least take a deep breath in. And say, whatever it takes, I'm going to get through today. I'm going to get through this minute. I'm going to get through this hour. Because it's just that sometimes what it is. Sometimes it's breaking it down to this minute. Sometimes it's breaking it down to this breath. It's one more breath. That's one more breath. And then we eventually get through 5 minutes, a half hour, and pretty soon it's another day. Pretty soon it's another month. You're sitting down and not doing anything, or at least not trying to find out what you can do to improve it, will not. So sometimes the situation doesn't improve by not trying to do something, not trying to say, hey, is there anything I can do? And there's times when it doesn't look like there's anything you can do, but go for a glass of water, or at least stand up. Sometimes it's stand up, walk around the same room. Maybe it's not very many steps, and then sit back down. But did something. Unexpected things happen to us all the time, and sometimes those unexpected things set us really back. Sometimes really hurtful and very mean things happen to us. And those hurt and can set us back for quite a while. The best thing always is to give it to Jesus Christ. Forgive yourself, forgive them. It's not even going to begin to say that stuff's easy, but it lets it go. And when it lets it go, that's when we can start moving on. So the big thing is I want to encourage you that life always will get better. Even if you sit back and look at it and say, hey, it has improved. there's times when we can look back and say in our last few years it's done nothing but got worse. Those times and those things are because of the decisions that we're making, the people that we are bringing in our lives, and the stuff we're bringing into our life. Sometimes we may need to move on from some people. Sometimes we need to get closer to some people. But if you make the active choice and the active decision, not so much as what are you going to do to make your life better, but that my life is going to get better. Because just in that perspective of thinking my life is going to get better starts getting us to notice things that do make our lives better. Sometimes it's as simple as going down to the store, getting a candy bar with, back then it'd be like 35 cents, but $2, and sometimes it's the last $2. I've been in that last $2 I had, and I managed to get down to the store on next to nothing and got a candy bar, and it's just like sit down in my own private space and enjoy my candy bar. At least for this 5 minutes, life is pretty good. This is a pretty good candy bar. Sometimes it's simple things like that we just have to sit back and enjoy to get through today. And so that's the thing, is it's not so much as getting through the next 30 years, the next 50 years, the next year, and in some cases the next day. It's getting through now, this minute. Get me through now. And that's just, sometimes it's that little stuff. Sometimes it's that little stuff. There's been times when water, a glass of water, was so refreshing and so good. Sometimes it's just like when you can, wash up and stuff. It's just like so refreshing. It's just, and then sit down on a chair and a couch, sometimes on the ground. Just take a deep breath and go like, whew. And it's refreshing. It's a time that you can sit back and just take it in, breathe in life. Let everything go. Let everything go and just relax right now. Put all the negative stuff out of mind and relax. You'd be surprised how much those moments will help. And that's even another thing I would say. If you can, just get off by yourself, take deep breath, and just quietly sit and relax. Regardless of what's going on and around you and stuff, to just quietly sit and relax can make a huge difference. Think about life getting better, and then also have hope for life getting better, because those things will make a huge difference in your life. And sometimes it's just that hope. Nope, can't see a thing. No evidence it's going to get better, but I hope it's going to get better. And really, that's what it all comes down to, is hope. And sometimes when we're really depressed, it's because we don't have hope. Because we don't believe it's going to get better. And when you start believing the smallest things grow. Like when we plant those little seeds in the garden, and this great big, like take the tomato seed, that seed's tiny. And you plant that in the garden, and the tomato plants, they get to be some of them are like 4 feet wide, 6 feet high. Great big tomatoes on them from that little seed. And so that's what I mean. Is sometimes when life sucks and you just like it can't get worse, or it definitely you're hoping it not to get worse. And you don't have anything to think, hey, is there any hope? Is there any bit where it's going to get better? It's that tiniest little thing, like I said, taking in a deep breath, fresh air, whatever it is, the candy bar, whatever, you can just sit down and relax. That little bit, let that little bit, and it'll grow. As long as you just keep in your mind, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. That little bitty bit of hope will get better, and it will get bigger, and it will grow. Well, I hope all this helped you out a whole lot. I look forward to you guys seeing more of these videos and spending more time with you in the future. Leave a comment and a like, and I'll see you guys in the future.